Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 79 of Build Your Stash and Craft. This week we're going to make decorated seashells, and so we bought a bag of seashells from the Dollar Tree, which looked like this, and I've already pulled some out and started getting them prepped up a little bit because it takes a long time to do the little embellishments. At least it does for me. Some people can put them together so quickly, but I just grabbed out some stuff and started preparing them. I did want to show you that I wanted to have a hole in my shells, and the way that I did that, and if you are going to do this, you need to do it very carefully, but the way that I did that was I just took a little tiny piece of masking tape, well, not necessarily tiny, couple inches, and then I taped it over the front and the back of where I wanted to put the hole. And then what I did was, you want to set it down. Lost my little mat here. Set it down on your mat with the rounded part on your mat, because you want this to be on a firm surface. You don't want to go this way where it's hollow underneath. So just set it like this, and then very, very carefully just find a spot kind of in the center and use your knife and just hold it down and turn the shell. Be very careful not to slip. You can kind of go back and forth, keep your fingers away from the blade, and I just used this just to get it started. Now I did all of these shells. The fastest one I did took me a minute, and the longest one I did took me 6 minutes. So it's not necessarily a quick thing. Once you get just a little bit started, then what I did was then I just took my little tiniest Phillips screwdriver and found that hole, and then again just back and forth and back and forth, and that winds up, because shells are not really that hard, but you want to be careful. Don't press too hard. You want the tool to kind of like do the gouging. You don't want to try and press through it, because then you'll just crack your shell. And once I get a little bit even bigger hole in there, then I go to my actual flat screwdriver, if I can find out what I did with that here, because the flat one has, well, I don't know what there it is. The flat screwdriver, it kind of has a point on each side. And I thought the Phillips would work best because, they kind of have the two little pieces that go down. But they don't really work as well as the flat one does once you get a hole started. And once you get the hole started, those two little points on each side of your flat screwdriver, and this is the smallest of the three straight screwdrivers, those two little corners that stick out there, they really do a good job at kind of carving into the shell. So this is coming along pretty nicely. I don't know how long it's going to take me. It depends on how thick it is on the other side. And I don't know that you really want to sit here for 5 minutes, but we'll see. And make sure that you do have something else underneath your shell, because I was doing it on the table. Thank goodness it's an old table, but on two of them, I went through the shell a whole lot faster than I thought I was going to, and went right through my tablecloth. But it didn't put like a gouge or anything in my table, but I did actually go through my tablecloth and right onto my table. So as you can see, or maybe you can see, I don't know, but there is a little hole starting there. And the reason that you put the masking tape on there is to just kind of help hold it together. But again, like I said, don't push too hard, because, you will crack it if you push too hard. So I hate to kind of stop in the middle, but I really don't think that, you get the gist of it. You can see how it works. And it really is coming along well, but some of them are just thicker than others. So that's, that's the whole thing. It just depends on how thick they are as how long it's going to take you to do this. So, but you don't have to do that either. I did go ahead and I made some wire wraps that you can put on them, and you can hang them that way, or just even glue string. So it's not quite through. I'm going to just leave it there because I'm not going to take the time, and this does feel like this side is kind of thick. So, but I will finish that one later. And that is how you do that if you want to get a hole in it. Or if you know someone with a drill, then you can do it that way. Or you can just make, I showed you how to do these when we did the tassels. So I just made some of these rings, and then you can just take this and you can just glue it right to the front of your shell like this, and then just kind of wrap it and make it stand up straight and put a loop at the top. And then you'll have that, and that's how you can hang it. And that's why we got the Fix It All adhesive, because this is nice. And this is kind of like the E6000. This works really well. You do have to let it dry, but it works really good. So if you wanted to just glue this on here, and you could glue it on the front because it makes a pretty decoration, you can glue it on the inside, and that gives you a nice area to glue to. If you do have the hole in there, this one right here, I went ahead and I used water glue, and I glued on some of the tissue paper that we got. And that's just as simple as, I'm going to do this one here because I do need to have one more. So I'm going to show you how I did that. And then I just pulled out lots of bits and bobs. The tissue paper that I got was kind of peach and turquoise. And so I went ahead and pulled out colors, different bits and bobs that I had that were in those colors or would go well with those colors. And actually this one, I actually used this paintbrush to paint on our what do you call it, liquid shimmer glazes that we made a couple weeks ago. I used this to paint that onto these, and that was with the floor wax, and then we added the food coloring, and that was week 76. So if you want to see how to make that glaze, but that's why this is kind of coming out pink, because I actually had used this brush for that. And I think I put my Mod Podge brush in the sink already, or in the water bucket by the sink. So you just put, first you cover your shell, and then you go ahead and just cover your tissue paper. You can do it in little bits, you can do it in whole pieces. I find it easier to just do it in whole pieces because it does, this isn't too round, so it does, it conforms to the shape of the shell really well. And then what I do is just make sure that you get the edges really good. Get them nice and wet with your water glue. And then once you have that done, just go ahead and very carefully just pull against the edge of the shell. And this is really heavy tissue paper. So the wetter it is, the better it breaks. But I'm just going to pull that against the edge of the shell, and then that is going to leave me with exactly the right tissue paper on there. You can let it dry before you do this and then just cut it off if you want to, but to me this is just the easiest way to do it. Then you've already got it done, and you don't have to try and get your scissors into the little cracks and crevices of the shell. There we go. And then any little extra bits, I just kind of roll them underneath. And then you can either dry that with your heat gun or just set it aside and let it dry. And I think that looks really pretty. I like that one. So some of the other things that I did was with this one, this was from our wax paste that we made. And I put that on this one here. And then I put a piece of our twine through that one. This one also has the wax paste on it, and then it also has the exact same turquoise tissue paper on there also on top. So so now it's just time to kind of embellish them up a little bit. That's my hardest part, is doing the decorating part. So let's see, we'll start with this one. This one, well, let's just start with one. We'll do this one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take one of my wires, and I'm going to put it through, actually I want to put it through from the front. I need to poke a hole through my tissue paper so I know where my hole is. There we go. And then I'm just going to bend this down onto my shell. Now you can glue this down so it does not move, or you can leave it. I want my shells to be kind of loose because I'm going to hang them up like a chime. And so I'm not going to glue that on there. It's going to hold it on there nice, but the shell is still going to move because I want them to kind of clank together. And then I have some of our pearls that we had from a while ago, and I've colored them different colors with our permanent markers. So I'm going to go ahead and, I think on this one I will put, I think I'm going to put one of the pink ones. I'm just going to cut that on each side and put that right in the middle. Now if you don't think that's going to hold, you can put a little dab of your glue on there. So, and that just kind of finishes that off a little bit, and that looks cute. So, and then I have a little ticket here that could go on there. That's kind of cute. I like that, but it needs something else. Let's see. It's already got a feather on it. What if we take some of this eyelash trim to put behind it? And I'm going to hang this in my window, so I can put things like paper and string and that type of thing on it, and it's okay. But if you're going to hang it outside, you're going to want to make sure anything that you have will be nice and waterproof. Just put that on there. Yeah, I kind of like how that looks. I think it may be just a little tiny piece of lace. Like that. Yeah, I think that looks really cute. So I'm just going to glue that on there like that. I probably should have used my glue gun and heated that up, but I don't do that often, so we're just going to use tacky glue and then just kind of set it aside. I'm just going to put some on there to grab these fibers. And then the lace, I'll just put it on the lace. Put that one on there like that. And put that one like that. So I think that looks really cute. Looks fun. I'm gonna move this down just a little bit. There we go. Now just set that aside to dry, and then I can just put a loop in the top of this and hang it from some string. So I'm going to let that one dry. And then, let's see, this one here is one that I painted with our liquid glaze. And then I put one of those through it. And what I did after I put it through is I just bent a loop in it and bent the other piece back down because it was long like this. And I put a loop in the bottom and tied a knot. And I just hung one of my dragonflies from that piece of ribbon on there. But it needs something else on here. But I thought the dragonfly was kind of cute hanging on there. So let's see here. I'm not sure what to put on there. Maybe if I just make... And this is just the threads that we had left from our burlap. I'm going to tuck it back into my clothespin before I cut it. I think I'm just going to kind of make a bit of a loopy flower. See, I'm just not real good at this stuff. No, that doesn't go because this is too orange. Actually, I think that maybe this dragonfly might need to hang on this one over here. I think it might look better. But what else do we have here? I have a button and a bow. Those are cute. I'm going to take this dragonfly off because it's distracting me. The colors just don't work right for me. And I think that we need a little bit of this lace on here. And maybe even a couple pieces of the lace. Put that on there like that. That looks kind of cute. And then I'll need to put maybe one of our beads on the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my hot glue gun so that this goes a little bit faster, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. I did glue all of this on top with the glue gun, and I'm going to put one of my beads on my ribbon, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue here at the bottom of the ribbon, and then just slide that bead down onto the hot glue to cover it up. And I'm just going to kind of pull that ribbon up against the bead so that the hot glue grabs. And that looks pretty, I think. And you can always do so much more to those. This, I think, needs maybe a little bit more with the dangly, but I'll figure that out in a little bit. So we'll set that one aside. And then I thought with my great big one here, I have one of the buttons that we made a while back, and some of my sparkly stuff. So I thought that maybe I would just put those on there. Like that. I'm just going to attach them at the top so they're still kind of dangly where they're hanging down. Just put those two on there and get the strings out. Got a little piece of fiber on there. And I'm going to put this one over here on this side. And I'm just not real good at the process videos. It takes me a long time to figure out what I want to do. I love watching other people do their process videos to see how they think it through. But I'm just not real good at doing that. It takes me so long that you'd be here for hours as I tried things back and forth, but I think I'm going to put this one on here. And that just kind of goes to show you what you can do with some of the embellishments that you make. Use them to make other embellishments. Or in this case, we're going to make a wind chime out of this. Or a window chime, I really should say. So I think that that looks good just like that is. So we'll set that one aside. Now this one, this is the one that I started to do the hole in and then I never finished it. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to use this to hang that up with. And I think I'll put a curl at the other end also. Whoops, my glue is leaking all over the place. Clean that up really quick before it sticks everything together. Put the lid on. Stick it in my glue pot. Okay, so I'm just going to take one of these. I'll take this one. It's got a longer stem on it. And I am going to roll the other end also, so that I'll have one to hang it from and one to glue it to the back with. So we just make a little loop. Sorry about that. I was totally out of shot. And then just take my flat pliers and just roll it around. And that's probably enough, because I want enough sticking out the top. Excuse me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the back and just kind of mold it in there and bend this up, because that's what I'm going to hang it from. And then I'm just going to put hot glue down here to hold this down. And so if you don't want to go ahead and try and put a hole in it, this is the way that you can attach it without having a hole in your shell. And just be very careful not to burn yourself with the hot glue. We did get our little rubber thing here a while back. We can just use that to press that down and hold it for a second. And really, this would be better to use your heavy glue. The hot glue works so much better on a tutorial just because it just grabs so much faster. You don't have to set it aside to dry. So there we go. And I'm going to put, I think, just a little bit more hot glue on that because I think I just moved it a bit. And then just push it down. Hold it for just a second to let it kind of grab. Now I want to put my dragonfly on this one. And I'm not exactly sure. This dragonfly I have on a clip. And I think I'm going to do it like that because I've got this big chunk out of it right there. So I think I'm going to put my dragonfly on there. I like that. Okay, and then we'll have to put a little bit more on there. And I think maybe we'll put some bling on there. I've got like 3 different sizes, so maybe we'll go ahead and just do a large one, and then a medium one, and then a small one. And I like that way that that looks with the body of the dragonfly. So there we go. That looks pretty. Have glue all over the end of my feather. That one's too big. Well, I wanted to try and clip it. There we go. See, it just gets so fiddly. And that's just not right either. Maybe if I shorten it up a little bit. And I want it right there, so I'm going to put just a dab of glue there. And this we got at the Dollar Tree. It's just a Betty Crocker spatula. There, that looks cute. And it needs a little something up in here. And I'm not sure what. Definitely not. That's kind of cute. It says breezy. If I go around that in orange, whoops, that might look really cute on there. We'll see. Yeah, I like that. Like that or like this. No, I think it needs to go like that. And I'm just going to put there we go. And that might have even been better just to put on with the water glue, but that looks cute enough. Okay, and it looks like I just have a couple left. This one I put a piece of our burlap string through, and I think maybe we'll see. I'm not sure really what we're going to do with this one. Let's see about putting some bits of ribbon on there. Along with some lace. And then what will we put on top? That looks kind of cute if I had something else to put on there. Something, maybe just even a couple pieces of our bling. Let's just put it on there like that. For time's sake. Put one of our big blings right in the middle. Everything doesn't have to be super over the top. Yeah, I like that feather in there. Just going to put a little bit of hot glue on it. Go, that's cute. And maybe one little tiny bling over on this side. There we go. And you can do them up so many different ways. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 is what I wanted. I have a 6th one here, but I like odd numbers. So then what we're going to do is we're going to hang it. And I'll be right back and we'll do that. Okay, I'm back, and I was going to make this into like a round wind chime, you know, with a round top, but I just don't do that very well. I tried doing it with a milk jug top, and that was too small, and so I just decided that I was going to hang them on a stick out of the backyard. So, but what I wanted to do is show you how I went ahead and got the thread through the shells. I went ahead and just used our wire needle, which is just a piece of wire folded in half, put the thread on there, and then just stick it through the hole. And then when you pull that through, just open up the loop part and take the needle out and feed the 2 tails through it. And that is how you get your thread inside of your shell. And then what I did was I just kind of set them where I thought that I wanted them, and then held the thread up and tied a knot right about in that spot. There we go. And then just cut off the top tails. Not too close because you don't want them to come undone. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to feed them onto my stick. Just like this. And then I'm going to hang it with a piece of ribbon. Get that last one on there. Well, if it'll come apart. There we go. And my first one came off. I'll put that one back on there. And then for the ribbon, all I'm going to do is I just took a long piece of my turquoise ribbon and I'm just going to tie a knot at each end. And my hands just are getting to the point where they're not going to work today. And then that will leave me a nice bit of ribbon on the top to hang it up by. And then maybe I might even make a couple of little ribbon bows, like this little ribbon bow here, and put one on each side. I think that might be kind of cute. So there we go. I'll just show you, we have this to hang it by, just like that. And then once I hang it up, let me grab my scissors, I dropped them, cut off these tails. Once I hang it up, I will adjust them exactly where they need to be. And you can just leave them like that because they're going to be hanging. They're probably not going to move. But if you want to, you can just put a little dab of glue at each spot where you want them to hang. They're going to hang just like that. Move that one all the way over. And I kind of like the sticks, they have just a little bit of curve to them, and that's usually why I put a dab of glue, just to kind of hold them in their spot. Oops, our little diamond came off of here. So put that back on there. And that's what it's going to look like when it's hanging on my wall. Or hanging in the window, and then they'll kind of clink together if the wind blows. And I just think that that turned out really cute. You can use these shells for anything. You can put them on top of a box, on the front of a journal, just all sorts of things. I just thought it'd be something fun, kind of summery to play with. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. For next week, we are going to need from the Dollar Tree, we're going to do storage again, because we have all of those little tiny, we have all of these little things, and we need something to put them in, and they do fit in here pretty nicely. So we're going to buy 4 of these wire containers from the Dollar Tree. This is what they look like, and 1 piece of foam board. So 4 of these and a piece of foam board, and then if you can find a large piece of cardboard that you can just use for your shell. If not, you can just glue your foam board together and that will be okay, but I love to have a cardboard shell. So that is 4 of these little trays and a piece of foam board. That's $5, so that will be what our whole allowance for next week. And this is what our project looks like. I hope that you enjoyed watching me try and figure it out. So thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.